In the projector, well, what happens is when you're dealing with a projector, okay, you've got we use it's a quantum device, okay? And what happens is in a quantum device, we're looking at field levels or exchange of electrons in your aura, in your hydrogen atom, and it's being modulated. It's being modulated by the hydrogen atom frequencies. And what happens is when you put the projector on that atom of consciousness, you know, most of physics, by the way, is done through the study of the hydrogen atom because it's simpler. So what happens is when you start wearing the projector, you start stopping the outside influence of these negative satellite, chemical, ionic, radionic frequencies the government's throwing at all of us now, and you start setting up a character for your own hydrogen ion transfer, which then on a quantum level releases light. And when I say release light, I mean it releases photons into your brain to illuminate what you're thinking about and doing, and it also releases photons out into the outer world to make something happen. You follow me? And so what happens is when you wear a receptor, for example, it doesn't do any of those things to the outside world. What it does is it regulates the hydrogen atom within your body, and that's it. It's like your battery charger for your body and your consciousness. When you use a projector, it becomes a hypothesis of how much light energy do you want to project of your own ego or your own energy out onto the world, and how much of a change do you want to make while you do that? Do you want to go fast and do it quickly and watch it's like very quick, or do you want to go slow and have plenty of time to wiggle around with your ideas and the outcomes? So what we do is we look at the photon itself as it projects itself across the visible spectrum from about 375 nanometers to about 750 nanometers, meaning violet to blue. And so what people do when they buy a projector, they get a feel for how fast they want it to work and how fast they want the feedback to come, because the feedback is really what gets you going. And so most people will go with a cubic zirconium, which is like full bore, full on, unless the diamond is used, which is even more. Whereas if you use a violet stone, it runs more in the lower chakras of the body, and it's a slower process. It's a more fulfilling process for a lot of people because it's less mental and more physical. Psychics, for example, typically don't like the white stones like diamonds, or they don't like diamonds or cubic zirconiums because it's too intense, too bright. They can't focus. It's like putting them on speed, so their whole psychic thing runs together. So they go with something like a yellow sapphire. But as far as mixing the stones on a projector, it doesn't make any sense to do that because it doesn't work that way. On a receptor, you can mix them. For example, some people will want a bunch of emeralds on the bridge, the small stones on the bridge of a receptor, and then they want a major colored stone, out in the center. So there we'll use a two-tone kind of effect for different, effects. But projectors, I always recommend one color. Women are very susceptible to the frequencies of the projector,